Hey everybody, Sean from Media Assault here, and it's time once again for another movie review. This time out, I'm going to take a look at the movie The Deep from 1977. This is obviously the movie on Blu-ray. There is the cover, and there is the back. And this is a movie that was directed by Peter Yates. It's based on a novel by Peter Benchley. It stars Robert Shaw, Jacqueline Bisset, and Nick Nolte. And one of the things that I remember about this movie from the 1970s is when it came out, it really, as far as the promotion, it was really played up the fact that this was written originally by Peter Benchley. So that, I think, planted the seed in a lot of people's minds that this is going to be something like Jaws, if not exactly the same thing, then something very similar. Maybe it would be, more than one shark or something. And that promotion promised something that it really didn't deliver, as this is really just a straightforward, straight-ahead adventure movie, more so than anything else. It tells the story of a young couple played by Nick Nolte and Jacqueline Bisset. The characters' names are David and Gail, respectively. And they're scuba diving off the coast of Bermuda, and they discover a shipwreck that actually turns out to be a World War II ammunition medical supply ship. But they discover two things outside that shipwreck that kind of don't seem to fit. One is a medallion dated from the 1700s, and the other one is a little ampule of morphine. Now, when they take these two items back to the island, one of the locals spreads the news that they found this morphine, even though the couple doesn't know what it is at the time, to a local drug lord played by Louis Gossett Jr. And he takes an interest in it. He tries to buy it off of the couple, but they're not willing to sell it, mainly because they don't know what it's worth or what it is. But the medallion they take to a local treasure hunter, and he's also a lighthouse keeper, named Treese, who's played by Robert Shaw. And Robert Shaw initially isn't very interested in the medallion, but he does take an interest in the morphine, and he actually takes the vial from the couple for a little bit. They leave his house, and they actually go on to be terrorized by the drug lord. His name is Cloche. And they are actually kidnapped by him and frisked to see if they have this morphine on them. And he wants to know where they got it and how they can get more. How he can get more, because he could sell it in the United States and make a lot of money off of it. One thing leads to another, and Treese, David, and Gail discover that there is more of the morphine on board the Goliath, the ship that they discovered. But it's also on top of another treasure that may be much more valuable than the drugs in the Goliath. And they sort of have to play against time and against Cloche to see if they can get this treasure without getting killed or murdered by Cloche. It's a very cool concept. It's definitely an interesting movie. The performances, this isn't a great drama or something that would require great performances. Everybody's pretty good. I think the one thing that really hurts this movie, though, is the pacing. There's a lot of back and forth. It just seems like there's a dive at the beginning, then they go to land and find something out, and then they go back to dive, and then they find something, they bring it to land, and they find something out. Then they go back and dive, and then they bring it to land, and they find something out. And the pacing, this is a slightly over 2-hour-long movie. It just seems like it could have been edited down a little bit and tightened up. Some of the swimming and diving sequences are very beautiful to look at. This movie has great cinematography, but everything seems sort of leaden. At times, they're swimming so slow and taking their time doing everything. It seems like they're swimming through molasses or something. There's actually a fight scene that takes place on land that, even though it's not, it feels like it's in slow motion. And I definitely don't expect this to be a quick-cut, modern-day MTV style, rapid video editing type of movie at all. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that there's a lot of dead time in this movie where the camera just sort of lingers over everything, and I can understand that to a point, but it just seems to slow everything down. And Henry Cloche is supposed to be this villainous Haitian drug lord, and he dabbles in voodoo, and there are a couple of examples of his use of voodoo to intimidate the couple. Um, but that doesn't go anywhere either. It seems like it's just an empty threat when we get towards the end of the movie. Nothing is done with that. So it's a flawed movie. I recommend renting it. And this movie gained a lot of notoriety. I mentioned this in my pickups video when for March when I picked this up. This movie is very well known for the opening 5 minutes, where Jacqueline Bisset is scuba diving in a wet T-shirt, which of course clings to her nearly naked body, and that's definitely not too hard on the eyes. But the movie is more than that, and it's worth seeing. It's just it could have been better, and there is a 3-hour long version of The Deep that apparently played on ABC, I believe in the early 80s, maybe the late 70s. I've never seen that. There are deleted scenes from that are on this Blu-ray, and they kind of flesh out, at least what I saw of it, they flesh out the story of the Goliath, the World War II ship, among other things. I don't think that's necessary. I think this could have been a much more taut, better paced thriller than it is. But it's still a good movie and worth seeing. So I'm going to give The Deep a 7 out of 10. So there you go. That's my review of The Deep from 1977. Thanks again for watching. As always, feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.